Hello everybody and welcome back to On Point HQ and a video I've been meaning to make for some time. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I'm really quite fond of kit bashing with my bolt action projects. And I get lots of people if I post them on various social media or even on these videos. How did I do that? How did I achieve that certain effect? And I never thought of, well, I always wanted to make a video and I never got around to doing it, so that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to kit bash an entire figure on a video, just so you know. I've chosen some bits and pieces. I don't know how the figure's gonna turn out or anything like that. It's going to be a bit of a surprise to me and hopefully to you all. And what I'm going to do, show you the bits and pieces that I'm going to hopefully be using. I'm going to construct the figure, then I'm going to paint it and show you exactly what it looks like to go from bits and pieces on a tabletop to being fully completed. I'll also throw in a bit of a painting scheme at the end, because what I'm going to be doing is working on my current bolt action project, which is US Airborne. These are being kit bashed because they're all based in Bastogne, 1944. So I've been using various bits and pieces, specifically greatcoats from the German winter set, cunningly disguised as American greatcoats with American equipment. So I thought it'd make sense to do something current bolt action related. So what am I going to be building? Well, when I start a section, I always start off with the NCO, which is something I've always done. So I thought it'd be quite appropriate to use this video to build a new NCO for my US Airborne at Bastogne. So I've been through my different bits boxes and sprues, and I've come up with a fair few bits and pieces that I think I want to use, but I'm not quite sure. So what I'm going to do is just talk you through the process of what I normally aim for when I'm kit bashing. So let's start off with the bodies. So with this, I've chosen 3 that I think might be appropriate. You have to excuse me, some of these haven't been cleaned up straight off the sprue, so there's a bit of mold lines and things that need to be taken off. So this is the first one. Now I like this one because it's an action pose. You know, he's leaning forward, and one of the things that's always really key to me when I'm kit bashing is I like the figure to be like a character, like it's doing something. So this body, it's quite good. As you can see, it's moving forward. It could be advancing. It could be doing anything in the middle of combat. So I think that this is one I'm definitely interested in. There's also a greatcoat body that I'm interested in as well, which is this one here. It's a nice neutral pose. So he could be, you know, issuing orders. He could be in conversation with a squad mate. Yes, there's lots of scope for that, and it would fit in well because I've been using these greatcoat bodies throughout the build of this project. And last but not least is this one. So I like this one as well because very much like this one, sort of a neutral pose. There's a lot to work with there. There really is. So we've got one that's in a greatcoat and one that's in a standard US Airborne uniform. So they're the bodies. In all honesty, I'm leaning towards this one. I just like the pose. It's like I say, it's a neutral pose, and you can do a lot with that. You could be equally in the middle of combat, but you could also be at rest or again issuing orders. So that is very much might be the one that I'm going for. So up next is the head. Again, very important that you choose the right head. With NCOs, I always like them to stand out, so sort of shouting or looking a bit animated. I'll also get to other parts that I like to add to give them that NCO look. So I know this looks like some kind of some kind of executioner's row. I couldn't think of the best way to really outline these heads. So I'll just zoom in a bit. So we're going to go from this side here. So this head is from the US infantry box. That one there. Vaguely NCO looking. He's got a bit of a grimace on his face. I think it works quite well. The next one is from the US Airborne box. I'm not quite sure about that one. There's just something about it. He looks a bit vexed or angry, which would work well for an NCO. Again, he's from the Airborne box. The guy with the cigar in his mouth, I love this head. It is just so cool. It's just so much character in there. Again, that's from the US Infantry plastic box. The guy yelling, again, really good NCO pose there. He's bellowing orders, he's barking orders, and that's from the US Airborne box. And the guy at the end, this one's from left field, and not just because he's on the left side of this this row of heads. This is actually from the British Airborne box, British paratrooper box, and he's got a bandage on his head. Now I've used this before in my Airborne, and I think it works really quite well. It definitely signifies someone who's been in better days, been in combat a lot, and he's hurt his head. So they're the 5 heads that I've chosen. And just like the body, there is one that I'm leaning towards, and it's this one here at the end. I don't know, there's something about that I really like. I think it would work really well with this body. So that is definitely on the might list. So up next we need to give them some arms. Now I mentioned earlier about what I like to do with NCOs, and I like to give them a submachine gun where I can. Just makes them stand out within the squad, and from game in game, you know, they stand out quite well. So I've found 3 SMG combinations that I like. Well, 2 combinations, 2 separate arms. So the first one is, let me just grab this, if you can see that. So this is from the US Infantry box, and what I like about this is it's in a great pose. So it's like he's at rest, or he's, you know, as you can see, it looks something like that. Really nice pose. I do like that one. I think I've used it once before, but it's a great looking sculpt as well. Really detailed, really nice. So that's a possibility. The next one is from the Airborne box itself, which again is another Tommy gun. Again, at rest, and it would work. I just don't think it's going to sit well with the body that I want to use it. It works better on that one there, I think. But still a good sculpt and a good position. I think there's an equivalent one in the plastic USMC box as well. It's very similar. So that is definitely on the to-do list. This one here, so this is a 2-part combination one, and this is from the US Marine box, the US Infantry box. And again, if I'm going for the body that I want there, that would work really well. Look at that. Definitely gives me a bit of gnarliness. That's definitely yeah, I'm liking that. That looks quite good. It would also work with a greatcoat as well. Let's have a look. Oh yes, look at that. I do like that. Sweet, that's a good combination. Right, and last but not least, again, another one from left field. It's this one from the US Infantry box. It's a grease gun. So I had to do a little bit of research because I didn't know whether the Airborne used grease guns, and it turns out they did. It was quite a popular weapon. So I'm thinking about using that. And again, let's look at the pose and how that. I mean, that looks good, doesn't it? That looks a bit badass. And again, could work on all 3 bodies. Ooh, look at that one. That's a nice pose. And likewise with the greatcoat as well. So that is a choice, and it's a weapon I've never used before in any of my armies. So again, that's a good possibility. So onto the left arm. So the first one. So if we use the head there, the injured head. Now I've used this combination before, which is why I'm loath to do it again, but it does work well. So in the US Infantry box, you've got this nice left arm here, clutching a helmet, and as he's got no helmet on, it works really well. He looks a bit dazed and a bit battered. So that is a definite possibility for that one. That would certainly work, and that would work across all of them. All bodies, yeah, certainly an option. This is where it gets a bit strange, because there's this arm here. Now this is from the US Airborne box. Just get that into focus. And I've used this quite a few times as it's an arm at rest. But I don't know. There's something about it. for what I want with my NCO, it doesn't really do it for me. It doesn't look how I want it to look. So what I did was, I think I did this a while back actually, just in preparation for a potential kit bash, is I got the same arm, which is, let me just see that, and I snipped the hand off and added a pair of binoculars from the US, from the British Airborne box. So I cut the strap off that as well. And again, I thought, with that, am I going to be able to use this at some point? And I don't know. I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work well with the SMG the way it is. But never throw anything away. That's my motto. This could always be used on another figure. And then again, something completely not what I was expecting is this. This isn't even bolt action. This is from the plastic gunfighter set that I've been doing a couple of videos about for Dead Man's Hand. Now what I've found is the bolt action range scales really well with the gunfighters from Great Escape, and I really like the way. If I'm going to use one of the submachine guns, that's going to work really well. It's a nice at rest pose. That's a definite possibility right there. So we're getting to the end now. And then what I've done is just bits of equipment that I need. So we've got a pouch and an entrenching tool. We've got a rucksack, and then things I like to add is so on here we have a pistol in a holster. That is from the US infantry box, and then a map case or a document holder. That's from the British Airborne box. And then we've got this one here, I believe is it's a magazine holder and ammunition pouch from the US infantry box. So they're just bits and pieces. Oh, and here we go as well, is 2 hand grenades. You can see those there. They're from the British Airborne box as well. So again, lots of equipment to put over my dude. So now it's decision time. What are we going for? So run through it in my head, and I'm going to try this combination. So this is the body I'm going to choose here, because I like it because it's a nice neutral pose. I think it can signify someone, at rest or in the middle of combat. I'm going to combine that with this head at the end. I think that's going to work really quite well. For the arm, I'm going to go with this one here, which is from the US infantry box, and I just like the way that looks, like so. I don't know, there's something really awesome about it. It just looks good, which means if I'm using that, I've got to use one of the left arms that I mentioned, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use the one from the cowboy set. I just like the look of it. Ooh, it's gone over there. So I think it'll work quite well. And that once it's painted and it's washed and it's highlighted, you won't tell it's from the same set. The only difference is that there's slightly less creases in that arm than in that arm, and I think the hand's slightly bigger. But 3 feet, the 3 feet rule and all that. Let's put those there. And I've got the equipment. So I think that's it. I think I've got all the bits and pieces. What I'm going to do now is go away and build it. Just a quick note on the tools that I use while I'm kit bashing. I thought I'd just run through this very quickly. So, humble clippers. Now I've had these for many years. Serve me well. For clipping off sprues, I use one of these proddy things. It's great for manipulating into bits and pieces around. I use your bog standard craft knife, like so. And last but not least, a file. And the type of glue I use, I mentioned this before, but I use super glue gel. It's more malleable than standard super glue. You have to use less and you get a lot more work time with it. So I use that. So what I'm going to do now is go away, put these together, and I'll come back and show you the finished item when I'm done. So I shall see you all in a little bit. and welcome back. And it's finished. It really is finished. Let's have a look. Let's get that into focus. I'm really happy with this. That has turned out. That's exceeded my expectations. How cool does that look? That is a supremely awesome looking kitbash. I'm very, very happy with it. As you can see, the different parts have worked really well. So I love the way he's holding his SMG. His left arm, he's at rest. The expression in his face, yeah, he looks like an NCO. The pose, using that sort of neutral pose body has worked really, really well. I don't think I would have got the same pose with that. Possibly with the great coat, because they're quite similar, but I think I made the right choices with those. So just recap, so we've used bits and pieces from four different kits. We've got the US Airborne body and equipment, so the rucksack and the entrenched tool and the pouch there. We've got bits from the US infantry box, which is the head and the SMG. We've got the left arm, which it isn't even a bolt action kit. It's from the plastic gunfighters box by Great Escape Games, and the grenades there are from the British Airborne box. So just go to show, you go rooting through bits, boxes and sprues, you can create really individual, unique and quite frankly awesome looking miniatures like this. What I'm going to do is, rather than put paint this in this video, because it's already getting a bit too long, I'm going to break it up into two parts. So what I'm going to do in the second part of the or part 2 of this series, I'm going to go away, I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to run through sort of a tutorial on the colours and techniques that I use to paint my US Airborne. I really enjoyed that. That was great putting that together. If you've got any comments or questions about kit bashing, bolt action or gaming in general, just pop them down in the comments below and I'll certainly respond to all comments and questions. But as always, thanks for watching, do take care, may your dice roll well, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So goodbye for now.